Welcome back to Don's Life. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining today. As you can see, I'm driving, but I wanted to quickly get a video in front of you to talk about the AT4X because ever since it was announced, my inbox has been filling up, or my comments have been filling up with questions about what I think about the AT4X being an AT4 owner of the current generation. So we'll talk about that today. I just need to pull over somewhere so we can have that chat. So let's go. So the intent of today's video is to determine whether an AT4X makes sense for myself and my needs. And I wanted to discuss that with you. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We'll talk about things like this. We'll do lots of DIY mods on not only my AT4, but other vehicles that I have in the stable. But anyway, to the point. So the AT4X, as you know, is a refresh. It has a number of improvements, we'll say, over the current AT4, which I enjoy right now. One of the biggest ones, and I have a whole list here, so you'll see me referring to my notes, has to do with the interior and the front end. But before I get into that, I wanted a point of reference. Many of you probably do your research like I do. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Either way, I've done a little bit and I'll share it with you. So I grabbed the sticker from my truck, the window sticker. And remember, I speak mostly in Canadian dollars because I'm in Canada, and I'll try to put the American equivalent pricing with the exchange rate on the screen here. But my truck on its window sticker was about $77,000 for the MSRP. And that was with the options that came with it. So like the high clearance step, technology package, and all that type of stuff. I have pretty much every option I have every package before you start getting into like the little add-ons, like a locking safe in the console and stuff like that. I don't have that as an example. So if I look at that $77,000 Canadian window sticker, and I go right now on gmc.ca, the Canada site, or gmc.com, and I go to build one of these on the Canadian site, to add the same features that I have now that are available, it's $88,588 for the MSRP. And that does give me over a dozen changes or improvements from what I have now. And I even lose a couple things because of chip shortages, which is my assumption. So I'm just going to talk about this list really quick. We're not going to make this video too long. But first off, obviously the interior refresh is a big deal. With that, you're going to get the larger infotainment screen, 13.4 inches versus 8, I think. And then the instrument cluster is now 12.3 inches instead of the like 4-inch one that I have now with some of the analog dials on the left and the right. So size-wise overall it's the same, but it's not as customizable because you only have that center area that is. And then you still have the same heads-up display at 15 inches. I'm just not sure if the graphics on the AT4X and that newer refresh are any different when you have the heads-up display. I'll assume they're probably pretty similar though. For the interior, you also get massage seats as standard on the AT4X. That might make the seats a little more comfortable. I don't find them terrible, but I have been in more plush or more comfortable seats. But I have been on some long road trips in this truck where, 5 or 6 hours one direction. And if I just adjust my seat here and there every couple of hours, it's fine. I don't find that it gives me a sore back or anything. Adjust the lumbar a little bit. But these massage seats, when you look at them visually, they look very similar in like form factor. But I'm pretty sure they'd be a little more comfortable if they've got that massage function because there's probably some extra bolstering or padding there. But I don't know. I haven't sat in one. Here's one that's just kind of snuck in to the, like this is 8 pages, so it's kind of buried in here. But on my truck, there's no option for power telescopic or power tilt steering. The AT4X has both of those features by default. In the interior, there is now a Bose 12-speaker system with a subwoofer. I think mine's just a 6 with a subwoofer. So they've increased the audio system or improved the audio system. Those are, oh, there's one more. So you have paddle shifters now on the steering wheel. So for my truck to manually shift, I have to use the shifter on the column, and I have the plus and minus there. So now you have the paddle shifter. I think that comes more into play when you're doing the one-pedal driving or the rock crawling, some of the features for the off-roading that the AT4X offers. So I think that covers the main things for the interior. For the mechanical, so many people will like this. It might be important to them. It'd be semi-important to me depending on how much off-roading I continue to do with my truck, but front and rear E differential lockers, like true front locking, and rear locking diffs. My truck technically has the ability to lock the rear differential, but it's done automatically. And most would say, including myself, that it's not as effective or a true locking differential. But for the class of this truck, at least the AT4X, it's going to be, from what I've read, the only one in its class that has those e-locking differentials front and rear. The truck now comes standard with the trailer tire pressure monitor sensors. So if you tow a trailer and you want to monitor the back tire pressure, you'll get a bag with those in it, and you just install them on your trailer wheels. That is an option I could have bought, or I could still buy separately from the dealership, but in this case it's standard with the truck. That is something I wouldn't mind having because I do tow a trailer often. Another big one for mechanical would be the suspension. So the Rancho shocks that come with the truck, normally they're replaced by MULTIMATIC DSVV dampers. Without getting technical, they have more volume, they are more precise, and they're going to offer even more suspension travel than the AT4 currently has with its 2-inch lift. So you're going to get 0.5 centimeter or 50 millimeters up front. You'll get 20 millimeters, 0.2 centimeters in the back. Now I did upgrade my front shocks to a Bilstein 5100 ride height adjustable shock, so I have an extra inch in the front. I'm not going to say of travel, but just of lift. And then I have airbags in the back because I tow, and that's more for just load leveling. It's not to tow more capacity. It's just to level that load and make it a little more comfortable when I'm towing. So the front end is a big refresh. A lot of people know that. I'm not sure if I like it 100%. I just need to see it in person. That's how I am. I'm a visual guy, and I really like the front end of my truck now. I think the style that we're enjoying now is some of the best looking half-ton trucks on the road. However, this could look better in person than it does on a screen or on paper. So we'll see. But I'm not going to go order one without seeing it physically first. So you do get an upgrade now with the MultiPro tailgate. It comes with the Kicker audio system as a standard feature. It's something that I thought about getting and still contemplating putting in, but it is a separate Bluetooth connectivity. So it's not playing whatever's on your infotainment screen. It's playing whatever you're basically sending it through your phone, through Bluetooth. I've heard mixed reactions on if it sounds that good or not. We'll see. I might get one, I might not, but either way it comes standard now, so you get that feature and a little more use out of your tailgate than maybe you never had before. And I think that is it. There's one big omission though, and I just wanted to point this out. And it's not a deal breaker per se. I've been driving for 30 years now. Yes, I know I'm old. But the park assist front and rear is not available on this truck. If you see some of the media footage that GM put out when they announced the AT4X, you can see the sensors in the bumpers. And one of the first things as you're going through the build, it says that front and rear park assist is not available. And then if you go to the fine print in the 8 pages of documents here, once you spec one out and go to build it, it says that select models will get a Q4 retrofit, but it doesn't specify which certain models would get that or not. So if you order one of these, or you have one of these that just came in and it doesn't have the cutouts for those sensors, or doesn't have the sensors there ready to be, hooked up and functioning with a working chip, then I don't think that you're going to be getting that retrofit. Now, if you already have the sensors and they just don't work, then I would think, or I would assume you'd get a retrofit. You just got to wait on the timing of that, and they're just estimating Q4 at this moment based on what I've read. Could be longer, who knows, could be sooner. The fact that it's an omission and even a chance that you might not ever be able to get it, at least on this 2022 refresh, maybe it'll be available on 2023 once we start catching up with chips, but that's how it sits right now. So my final verdict, like I said, I don't want the video to go too long, is I need to see it in person, I need to sit in it, and as soon as I can get my hands on one to do that, I know my salesperson, if they have one that I'm able to do that with, he'll let me know and I'll make you a video so you get an impression from somebody who's owned an AT4, what it's like with the new AT4X. Anyway, if you like today's video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. We'll talk to you next time.